Video game inflation sucks in most cases, but can sometimes be useful. It stops people from buying crap like this. At least sometimes. Inflation can come from many different places, like low print runs or just straight out demand. Not every game inflates to the degree of something like Earthbound or Little Samson. Some games decide to hover in the "this is affordable, but I may go into crippling debt" range if I'm not careful. There's a lot of places to look for inflation, like literally any Nintendo game, which brings up the point that these games aren't necessarily out of reach. For example, something like Splatterhouse. This game cost me about $5 when I got it. Now that's more of an observation than anything, because I'm not always that lucky. Splatterhouse is admittedly a pretty fun game, but I can see why it shot up in price. So this game went up in price for a combination of things through mixed reviews and low sales numbers, which would cause this game to become scarce. Just a quick note, this game started to go up in price before the happened, so I think the inflation on this game was more than just the... Now if you go on eBay, the copies won't be endless. Enough to see one for $50 or so. Just keep in mind, people couldn't give this game away a few years ago. Now, at least in my opinion, I find this game to be really entertaining, and it's a nice little stress reliever where you punch crap to death. On top of that, a man by the name of Jim Cummings voiced the mask, and honestly, it's worth the price of admission alone for him.
Come on, let's go kill something. It's been too long, and I'm way out of practice. Jesus, Rick, get it together. I asked you to trust me. First sight of blood, and you're crying like a schoolgirl.
So Splatterhouse is a good example of a game that is still affordable but may break your wallet if you're not careful. Now let's talk about games that require a second mortgage to buy. Welcome to the Sega Dreamcast. It has games that cost about as much as a car payment. So I don't own anything crazy, but I do have Mortal Kombat Gold, and while this is still an expensive game on sites like eBay, it's nothing in comparison to some games.
Jesus!
So games like Power Stone costing $200 come from low production numbers on top of being on a console that died pretty quickly. Which sucks, because the Dreamcast had a lot of awesome games like Crazy Taxi, Code Veronica, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Okay, let's talk about another area of inflation, my personal favorite, dumbass inflation. I mean, look at this guy, he looks pretty stupid. I mean, look at this game right here. It has a decent PC version, but wow. Shattered Dimensions on its own right on PS3 and 360 are pretty easy to come across, but can cost a decent amount of money. So this version came out in the Games for Windows era, and thank God it's not connected to Games for Windows Live, which belongs in hell with Vista. So what inflated the PC version? Well, it was a physical game that came out in 2010, and that alone wasn't the problem. It was the fact that it was a physical game on PC in 2010. By this time, Steam had been out and was starting to take over the PC gaming market as far as buying games goes. This game was on Steam, but would later be taken off due to licensing issues. So where does that leave the physical PC version? I'm not sure, but I could give it my best guess. So my best guess is that the physical version didn't sell well due to Shattered Dimensions being on Steam, eventually fading into obscurity. You can find this on eBay, but it's not on eBay all of the time and can sometimes take time for a copy to pop up. It's that video games are going to be the newest form of currency if we have an apocalypse.